Assalamu alaikum. I'm Dr. Memuna. Today we will study brain. Actually, central nervous system is composed of spinal cord and brain. And both of these structures, they are surrounded by meninges. Meninges is basically a three-layered structure that is made up of three membranes. So meninges basically forms a covering around the brain and spinal cord. Meninges are present between skull and the brain, and also between the vertebral foramina and the spinal cord. So meninges surrounds brain and spinal cord. There are three layers of meninges. First one is the dura mater. In this diagram you can see that the outermost layer of meninges is the dura mater, and it forms the venous sinuses. Second layer is called arachnoid mater, and arachnoid mater here forms the CSF, that is cerebrospinal fluid, and the innermost layer is called pia mater, and pia mater is adhered to the brain. So the space between dura mater and the arachnoid mater is called subdural space, and the space between arachnoid mater and pia mater is called subarachnoid space, and subarachnoid space contains cerebrospinal fluid, right? Now the ventricles. We have 4 ventricles, 2 lateral ventricles, then we have third ventricle and fourth ventricle. Ventricle contains cerebrospinal fluid. Cerebrospinal fluid is basically secreted into each ventricle of the brain by the choroid plexus. Choroid plexus are basically the vascular areas. These are the minute vessels which are responsible for secretion of the cerebrospinal fluid, which is present in the ventricles, and it is being produced continuously. The total volume of CSF in the ventricles is 150 ml. The components of CSF are water, glucose, small amount of albumin and globulin, then sodium, chloride, urea and creatinine are also present in small amount, and a very little amount of leukocytes. Now the functions of cerebrospinal fluid. The major function of CSF is to protect the brain and spinal cord because it acts as a cushion and shock absorber. It also keeps the brain and spinal cord moist for the exchange of nutrients and waste product. और ये exchange कहाँ पर होता है? Between the neurons and the CSF. CSF also plays a role in regulation of breathing because it bathes the surface of the medulla where we have central respiratory chemoreceptors. Now the brain. 2 major parts of the brain are the cerebrum and cerebellum. Cerebrum is the largest part of the brain, and the superficial part or the outer portion of the cerebrum is called cerebral cortex, and this cerebral cortex contains the cell bodies of the neurons. That's why it is called gray matter. So the outer portion is called gray matter, and the inner portion, which contains the axons of the neurons, is called white matter. Cerebrum is divided into 4 lobes, and these are the frontal lobe, parietal lobe, occipital lobe and temporal lobe. In this diagram you can see different lobes of the cerebrum. Now coming towards the functions of the cerebral cortex. Cerebral cortex is responsible for intelligence, for memory, thinking, reasoning, and learning. Sensory perception, which includes the perception means feeling, right? So the sensory perception of the pain, temperature, touch, sight, hearing, taste and smell, all the somatic sensations as well as the special sensations occurs over here in the cerebral cortex. So it is also very important function of the cerebral cortex to perceive all the sensations. And the third and very important function of cerebral cortex is that it is involved in the initiation and control of the skeletal muscle contraction. So it is responsible for the voluntary movement. Voluntary movement means if you are thinking to run, so your cerebral cortex will send signals to the skeletal muscles of the leg to start contracting and the person will start running. This is called voluntary movement, that is under your control. You can think about exercise, you can think to move from one place to another place. So this is your own perception. Now the functional areas of the cerebrum. Functional areas of the cerebrum includes the motor area, sensory area and association areas. First of all, we will see the primary motor area. That is in this diagram you can see the pink colored area, that is the primary motor area. Primary motor area is responsible to control the skeletal muscle activity. So all the voluntary control of the muscles occurs through this primary motor area. Then we have another motor area, that is the Broca's area. Here you can see the Broca's area, which is the motor speech area. So all the this area controls all the muscles that are needed for speech, right? We have discussed the primary motor area and the Broca's area. Now coming towards the sensory areas of the cerebral cortex. This yellow colored area, you can see the yellow colored area, that is the somatosensory area. So here all the sensations, which include the pain, temperature, pressure, touch and proprioception. Proprioception is the sense of position. These are perceived in this area. So somatosensory area is responsible for perception of all the sensations. Then we have auditory area. This blue colored area is the auditory area. So this area receives and then interpret all the impulses that are transmitted from the ears through the 8th cranial nerve, that is vestibulocochlear nerve. Then we have taste area, right? So the taste area receives impulses from the tongue and the oral cavity to perceive taste. Next we have visual area. Visual area is responsible for the vision, right? So it receives impulses through the 2nd cranial nerve, that is the optic nerve. Then lastly we have olfactory area, which is not shown in this diagram because it lies deep within the temporal lobe, and it receives, this olfactory area receives impulses from the nose through first cranial nerve. So these were the primary motor areas as well as the primary sensory areas. Now we also have some association areas. The function of association areas is to interpret the impulses from the sensory as well as the motor areas. So higher mental functions are perceived by the association areas. Here in this diagram we can see the premotor cortex. This is one of the association area, premotor cortex. So premotor cortex, as it's written over here, that it is responsible for coordination of the complex movements. So complex movement is the function of premotor cortex. And for example, writing is a complex function, complex motor activity. So writing is controlled by the premotor cortex. Then here again we have another association area, that is the prefrontal cortex. So prefrontal cortex is also responsible for comprehension of the higher intellectual functions. For example, decision making and planning for the voluntary activity. So these are the functions of prefrontal area. Then we have another association area which is called Wernicke's area. So here we have Wernicke's area. This blue colored circle is basically the Wernicke's area, and this is the sensory speech area, right? So Wernicke's is also known as sensory speech area. All the words that are spoken, they are perceived here, and our intelligence is based upon Wernicke's area. So these were all about the association areas, and you must remember at least their names and their one function. And the very important function of Wernicke's area is intelligence. Our intelligence is based upon the Wernicke's area, and Wernicke's area is located in the left hemisphere in all those people who used to write with right hands. So Wernicke's area is located in the left cerebral hemisphere. So that was all about the association areas and cerebrum.